With my hunk of junk car, I'd say I'd be there in about 20 minutes, sir. Don't worry, I'll be there. Wait for me. Alright, just get here in one piece. I'm on a mission and no one can stop me now, sir. No one. I'm pulling out all the stops and running every red light. He's gonna get pulled over. Items left by the murderer, huh? Maybe there's something among them that will be decisive enough to end this. Hey, what's wrong? Detective Gumshoe, answer me. No one can stop, What happened? Sounded like he had an accident. I'm guessing his cell phone broke as well. What was he thinking? We've got to hurry and call for help, but we have no idea where he is. His cell phone is broken, he wasn't driving a patrol car, so no radio either. Also, if we don't get to those items before they do, the police will take possession of them. No, we can't let that happen. Well, if there's a way we can find out where he is, then we stand a chance. Why oh why did Gumshoe have to get into an accident now? Is there any way I can find exactly where he is at the moment? There's gotta be. That's right, there is a way. What? How? I'm sure we can find out where Detective Gumshoe is through... I would say on Karma. She has a little radio thing on him. Why are you bringing up Francisca at a time like this? Oh, I see. I'll go and get in contact with her. The chances are slim, but she's all we have. Francisca. Will she even want to help us? Edgeworth. What is it? I don't have any right to judge anyone ever again. I know my client is guilty, but what I'm doing now, I'm pitting the guilt on someone totally innocent and using the evidence to do so. It might be my turn to say defense attorney Phoenix Wright chooses death. Right. It doesn't suit someone like you to cry useless tears. Whether you did your job well or not. That can only be seen after the verdict has been decided. The verdict. Is Prosecutor Edgeworth here? Yes, bailiff? There's a phone call for you, sir. They said it was extremely urgent. They're probably finished with the handwriting analysis. I had to go back and take this call. In the meantime, think hard about what it is you must do. Court will now reconvene. I assume both sides are ready. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the defense acting like this. However, why do you seem distraught, Mr. Edgeworth? That is... it's nothing, Your Honor. What's wrong with Edgeworth? It looks like something unexpected just happened to him. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you could please tell the court results of the handwriting analysis on Miss Unpaw's suicide note. Yes, Your Honor. Unfortunately, we have discovered that the suicide note is a forgery. What? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This note was not written by Miss Unpaw herself. It is a fake. Order! Mr. Edgeworth, would you care to explain what is going on? If this was not written by Miss Unpaw, then who wrote it? We would need more time to do a more detailed analysis. However, it appears that the handwriting matches that of the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida. Mr. Corrida. Well, looks like Miss Unpaw never left a suicide note after all. She never wrote anything about On Guard. However, Your Honor, even though this suicide note is indeed a fake, Mr. On Guard could not have known that, and so that fact remains unchanged. Acting under the assumption that it was real, he had plotted to possess it. That does sound very plausible. This theory that On Guard had no idea the suicide note was fake, something seems a little wrong with it. The defense believes that the theory that the prosecution has stated contradicts testimony. The whole point of knowing that the note was in there is that he was watching it. So he'd obviously know if the note was real or not because he would have saw Mr. Kurita write it. If everything the prosecution has proven up to this point is true, then it's impossible for Mr. On Guard to not to have known it was fake. With these spy cameras. What's this little item called again? A video camera, Your Honor. Very small one, but... Oh, that's right, a camera. Ah, you kids and your fancy toys nowadays. Mr. Edgeworth, earlier you claimed that Mr. On Guard knew of the existence of this note because he was spying on the victim, isn't that right? If that were true, then this means Mr. On Guard would have known that the victim had forged the note. So then, the defendant knew the suicide note was a fake. And if that's true, then the situation suddenly changed in a very dramatic way. Exactly, Your Honor. The prosecution's theory as to what Mr. On Guard's motive for murder was has suddenly disappeared into thin air. But Your Honor, it's not as if Mr. On Guard monitored Mr. Kurita 24 hours a day. Perhaps the victim wrote a note in a place On Guard didn't know of. Well, right back at you, Mr. Edgeworth. Why don't you show us some proof that the victim made the forgery at an unknown place? Order! Mr. Edgeworth, it looks like this time it is you who has dug his own grave. As I figured. Huh? As you figured? As I figured, it came down to this after all. Mr. Edgeworth, you are not making any sense. When I heard the results of the handwriting analysis, I thought this might happen. The question is, what next? What next? If the prosecution can't prove Mr. On Guard's motive through the evidence, then we must prove it from another angle. Well, I agree with you there. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call a witness to the stand at this time. Oh, well, that's fine. However, this witness is a little unusual. Edgeworth stuttering. This is not like him at all. Please don't be Lotta Hart. Please don't be Lotta. Unusual? Well, what sort of witness is this person, Mr. Edgeworth? This witness is one who perfectly fit to answer once and for all the question of who was it that hired Shelley to kill her to commit murder? It's impossible. Who is it? Who in the... No such person exists who can answer that question with such certainty. Yes, Mr. Edgeworth, who is this witness? It has to be Shelley to kill her. Yes, go on. Who is it? The man himself, Mr. Shelley DeKiller. Oh, Mr. DeKiller. Ah, wonderful name. Oh, wait, what? Shelley DeKiller? You mean the killer? I mean the assassin? Yes, Your Honor. He's coming here to the witness stand. Well, yes, in a manner of speaking. I recognize that this is a very unusual circumstance, so I ask for your permission. Well, Mr. Wright? Yes? Is this alright with you? Do I have a choice here? I can't really do much else to drag this trial out. The defense has no objections, Your Honor. I wonder if it really is alright to do this. He probably won't shoot someone. Very well, then the prosecution calls our witness to the stand. Edgeworth, is there no other way left to us? Now then, witness, your name and your occupation, please. Well, I don't know what I was expecting. I was about to be really fucking confused. Very good, sir. My name is Shelley DeKiller, and I'm a professional assassin. I say, what is going on here? Your Honor? How can you remain so calm, and what is the meaning of this two-way radio? Actually, Your Honor, it was delivered to me just now, and it came with a condition. As long as we do not trace its source, Mr. DeKiller will testify to this court. So So this must be what that urgent phone call he got earlier was about. Oh no, this will not do. I cannot not allow this in my courtroom. First of all, we can't even be sure that this is really Mr. DeKiller himself. Witness, please present some sort of proof that you're in fact Shelly DeKiller. I understand. Please wait a second. I'm so hungry. Maya! Maya. A voice! Mr. Wright, can you confirm anything from this? The defense has no objections to this person. We're satisfied that this man is indeed Shelly DeKiller. Looks like we have run into yet another unexpected turn of events. Whatever, please interrogate this two-way radio. Well, it doesn't seem like we have too many choices under these circumstances, so... Now then, witness, there's one thing I would like to confirm before we speak of anything else. And what would that be? At the request of a client, you killed Mr. Juan Corrida, is this correct? It is as you say, I did indeed kill Mr. Corrida. Well, now that we have answered that, let's move on to the name of your client. Very well. It's all just a bad dream. Yes, that's it, a bad dream. Shelly DeKiller. What is he going to say? He's probably going to say that he's not his client. That probably Adrian's his client. There's something I must first state. To an assassin, nothing is more important than the trust between a client and himself. And that is the reason I'm here today on the witness stand. It is my wish that you grasp this concept before I give the name of my client. Mr. DeKiller seems to be a very clever man. I'd almost say he seems to be mocking us. While he may appear to be our enemy, Your Honor, Mr. DeKiller is only stating the truth. He is no hypocrite. He has always stood by this one belief. You mean about his trust between his client and himself thing? Seems to be a level of trust beyond what people like me can comprehend. Well, Mr. Wright, are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Yes, Your Honor. There's no way to know what's coming next, so stay cool and collected, Mr. Phoenix. There's something I must first state, and I'm going to press on all of these. We can hear anything you have to say later. Can you please just tell us your client? I don't think you understand your place, Mr. Attorney. I said this is something I must first state. Do you know what the word first means? Sorry. Go on. Well, it appears this is one witness you can't badger, Mr. Wright. That's only because you don't know about Maya's situation. The trust between you and your client. I provide my services in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. If too many people knew of my face, it would be quite troublesome. And that's why you're testifying in this manner. This is the first time one of my clients has ever been accused of murder. I must preserve the DeKiller name so my clients can trust me. But couldn't someone stab you in the back and break your trust? It has never happened before, but if it ever did, yes. That person wouldn't be my client for very long. They would certainly. That's enough, and please, no more. Very well. It was only a hypothetical anyway. This seems a little strange to me. Ravine, you're about to tell us the name of your client. I would think that this would be very bad for them. It doesn't matter to me. This client has already broken the rules and acted outside their prescribed role. Their role? This person tried to implicate another of the crime in order to save themselves. And this is a trespass that cannot be forgiven. Who gave you the right to be so high and mighty? To the gentleman who spoke just now, excuse me, but would you care to die? No, I didn't say anything. The judge had better watch himself. Yeah. He's gonna pin it all on Adrian. Sleazy asshole. We understand, so please tell us the name of your client. I'm afraid I cannot do that. I still have a few things to say before I do. Then fucking out with it. That maniacal. It's no good for your health to be so aggravated. You won't live very long if you let everything bother you. Somehow that coming from an assassin makes it less than comforting. I don't really care about all this extra fluff, just tell us the name already. Patience, try to calm down a little. It's important to try and understand his mindset. He seems very steadfast and closed, so you're going to have to work to get him to talk. I'm not his therapist, you know. You're just out with it already. The trust between you and your client. I provide my service in a fast and efficient manner. In exchange, I trust that my clients are discreet about me and my identity. These are the roles and duties to an assassin and his client are to carry out. I'm sorry, but I was wondering about something you just said. You said that your client had already broken the rules. A person who frames another is the worst kind of human. And that's why you feel you can betray this person? I have no trust relation with a client who can't understand their assigned role. Just my luck, an assassin with a conscience, who would have figured. Now then, everyone, do you think you can withstand my logic? Understand. This case just keeps getting better and better. If you can't, then I'm afraid we can't proceed. Everyone understands your point, I think, really. In that case, I believe I am prepared to disclose the information you seek. You've made it crystal clear that you value trust over all else. I believe we are ready. Excellent. Just do it. What is it? Now I can't bring myself to ask the client's name. If you can't ask it, Mr. Wright, then I will. Witness! What is the name of your client who requested the murder of Mr. Juan Corina? That person's name is... Adrian Andrews. What? Witness! That's not who you told me it was earlier. Pray tell, what are you talking about, Mr. Prosecutor? I should think I know my own client, and it is Adrian Andrews. What? It isn't, because you're a piece of shit. My Adrian did nothing wrong. This can't be. On the phone earlier. What's going on here? My guess is that Mr. DeKiller just stabbed Mr. Edgeworth in the back. Stabbed Edgeworth in the back? I'm sure in order to get an audience with this court, Mr. DeKiller told him a different name. Mad on guard, perhaps. I knew it. This is outrageous. I was deceived. The witness is telling a very serious lie. You were the one who summoned this witness. You showy DeKiller. My testimony is the truth. The defendant at the moment is mad on guard, am I correct? All I wish to do is help procure his acquittal. Wow. All of a sudden it feels like we can actually win this. Yeah. But I don't want to win it. That's the problem. If it means Adrian goes to jail and gets killed, then fuck no, I don't want him to win. The prosecution has failed to provide a motive and has instead provided the suicide note, which is a forgery created by the victim. Furthermore, there is a possibility the defendant himself knew it was a fake. But most definitely of all, we have heard from the assassin himself the name of his client. Mr. DeKiller's client who requested the murder was not the defendant at all. No. With all this evidence, it is obvious to me that this means that Mr. Mad on Guard is innocent. I seem to have caused you a bit of confusion. Please continue your discussion and call me when you have reached a verdict. Bailiff, please bring Adrian Andrews in immediately. Now, with the way this is going, On Guard will be found innocent. This may be our last chance to save Maya. Yeah, but Edgeworth is right. DeKiller is lying. And On Guard, my client, I know he's guilty. Can't live with myself if I win this. Who would have believed that the prosecution's own witness would absolve the defendant? I refuse. I absolutely fucking refuse. Your Honor, the prosecution requests permission to further question the witness. Shelley the killer is certainly lying under oath. It wasn't me. Listen, everyone, please. That testimony just now. It was all one big lie. Miss Andrews. The suicide note may have been a fake, but that man, Matt, he's the reason Celeste died. And Juan's death, it was all because he got pulled into Matt's twisted world. That testimony just now. You have to believe me. It was a horrible, horrible lie. But Mr. the Killer himself has testified. He's named you as his client. No, that's not true. I refuse to have Miss Andrews go to jail and be killed for this. Also, there's quite a bit of evidence that points to you. The knife and the button, the donning the nickel samurai costume. But that's... You even have a motive. We know that Miss Celeste Ampah was a large part of your life. You wanted to follow her, and you wanted revenge against the two who hurt her. I would say you have plenty of reasons to want them both dead. No. Mr. Wright. You know the truth. Tell them. Tell them the real story, who the real killer is. Tell them. Please, help me. I have to. Yes, I know the truth. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I believe we have reached the end of this trial. Therefore, I ask the defense for any final words or opinions. I have to decide. Do I take the not guilty verdict and save Maya? Or do I throw this chance away and wait for Gumshoe's new evidence? What am I supposed to do? Keep going. Phoenix. I can't do it, Mia. I can't accept a not guilty. You are a lawyer. I know. But Matt Engarde is a killer, a murderer. I can't let him get away with this. I can't let someone else take the fall. I refuse. If I let Miss Andrews be convicted, then I'm no better than Engarde. And even though I don't want to admit it, I have to face the facts. It is because of Edgeworth that I now know the real truth. He could have gotten Engarde convicted so many times over, but he never took a single one of those chances. If I take this verdict right now, I'd be betraying his trust. His trust. I never thought about it until now. I trust him. Yes, you do. Mr. Wright, your opinion, please. The defense requests that we be allowed to further question Mr. the Killer. Am I hearing you correctly? Right. But the witness has cleared your client through his testimony. Your job here is done. I'm not done yet. To see through this witness's lies and find the truth. That is my job, Your Honor. There's still more evidence to look at. And I'm sure that once those pieces arrive here in this very courtroom, a miracle will occur. Very well, the trial will continue. Mr. Edgeworth, please re-establish connection with Mr. the Killer. Right away, Your Honor. Has a verdict been reached? Before that, we would like to talk to you a little bit more. About? All you needed from me was the name of my client. What else could you need for me? Well, actually, we would like to hear anything you know about this case. That is how things are usually done. What is he talking about? Usually done. But what shall we have him testify about now? Mr. the Killer, if you don't mind, please testify about your client in more detail. Your legal people and your procedures, is it any wonder no one likes to go to court? As I have already stated quite a few times, Adrian Andrews is my client. However, one thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. My client did it to frame another of the victim, while pretending to be the first person to discover the body and enter the scene. Adrian Andrews already knew that from the very beginning that Juan Corrida was dead. But even more appalling is the creation and planting of the knife and button. That act is what I was referring to when I said my client had broken the rules. Huh. This is a most unexpected turn of events for the 5th time now. However, this time everything has finally been revealed. Objection! Just a second, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth? We still have the cross-examination to do. But you don't need to question testimony like this. Do you, Mr. Wright? Your Honor, the defense will question the witness, as if I have a choice here. Huh? Why? What this witness has said is nothing but beneficial to the defense's case. If you scrutinize the testimony, then I'll expose the lies in that oh-so-beneficial testimony, I suppose. I don't understand what's going on anymore. That makes 2 of us. About my client part 2. Jesus, I don't want Adrian to be guilty. What is it, Mr. Wright? If I press him in the wrong way, it might raise suspicion on his end. But I have to do something to waste more time. Witness. About requesting a hit. Yes. How much is your fee? Oh my god. I see you are also quite a dark-hearted man, Mr. Attorney. Huh? If you would like to talk business, we can do so after the trial. No, I'm not thinking of hiring. Mr. Wright! Yes? You want to kill me? You want me dead, don't you? No, I can just wait you out. What? Why would you think something like that, Your Honor? Guilty, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You're hereby declared guilty. Witness, let's continue. Why did you disclose the name of your client? They are your client, are they not? One thing I simply cannot overlook is tampering with the scene of the crime. I would think that most people wouldn't be able to overlook a person hiring another to kill. If I had a problem with such a thing, it wouldn't be very effective at my job. Yeah, well, a change in occupation might be good for you. However, I will say this. Even though I am the one that does the deed, my clients are always the real guilty party. That goes without saying, Mr. DeKiller. And their fate is to live with the knowledge of their guilt on their shoulders. However, my client this time thought that they could run away from their guilt. This is just a bunch of fucking bullshit. I fucking hate this dude. Ugh.